base hit in any game, but he's right where he's supposed to be. And so you can see analytics and whether it's with pitching staff, whether it's with matchups and all those type of things. But NFL-wise, much more prevalent today than it used to be, for sure.
And that's kind of my grand point here, is that it would be foolish for anybody to discount analytics. It would also be foolish for anybody to discount the human element in the game. And the people who win championships, they embrace both.
And then that's absolutely correct, and I think that's what this Twins team is doing this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me what your guy, Adam Thielen, and Kyle Rudolph and Joe Mauer are up to this weekend. I was out covering the 3M Open last weekend, and I saw Adam playing in the Pro-Am, and I mean, his swing speed. His swing is beautiful, and he crushes the ball. I mean, he hits it as well as pros. It is remarkable to see him out there with those guys. And then Kyle Rudolph was out there because Kyle Rudolph shows up everywhere.
Right. Yeah, and Adam and Kyle are both golf lovers, and so they're both participating this weekend in the American Century Golf Championships, which is a big celebrity event, probably the biggest celebrity tournament of the year. And you got guys, Tony Romo is the defending champion. You've got guys like Steph Curry, who's a very serious golfer, and about I think a scratch or one handicap, and Adam, top golfer, and I'm not sure what Kyle's game is like, but I know he loves the game, and so they're out there in Lake Tahoe, and along with another very famous Minnesota athlete who never used to be able to play golf this time of year, and we're talking about Joe Mauer, of course.
Right.
And now, I don't know what kind of game Joe has, but all I do know is every sport he's ever played in his life, he's been great at. Going back to high school, he was All-State in football, a top recruit at Florida State.
He's a great basketball player.
A great basketball player.
I will say that when I first started doing stories on Joe, as a young Twins recruit, went and hung out with him and his brothers at their condo, what was then their condo down in Fort Myers, and they lived on a golf course, and they played all the time. And Joe hit a huge, big old slice, but he hit it a long way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So he found a way to score.
Right, and I'm sure he's been working on his game. He's had time to work on his game this year.
Yes.
And so it'll be kind of fun to watch them out in Lake Tahoe this weekend at this tournament. It'll be on NBC on Saturday and Sunday, on NBCSN on Friday. So if you need your Viking fix and your Joe Mauer fix, check it out, because I think it'll be fun to watch those guys along with the celebrities of the world, the Ray Romanos, the Charles Barkley's, who's got that crazy swing.
Just change the channel when Charles takes a swing.
That's right.
He'll scar you for life.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So they'll be busy involved with that, and that'll be fun to see.
Once again, we want to thank Metro East Natural Healing Center for providing us some office space today at 6993 35th North Street, North Oakdale, Minnesota, 651-771-1703. You can reach them at info@nutritionchiropractic.com, nutritionchiropractic.com. Again, Dr. Martin Furlong is the proprietor, and we appreciate them providing the space. I know I have a chiropractor, and I believe in this kind of stuff. It's done wonders for me. I've had back problems. I've never had to have a back surgery because I go this route. And if you go to nutritionchiropractic.com, you can see patient testimonials and get all the information on the business. Once again, thanks to Martin for providing the space today. So let's get into your sporting news column on Gronk.
Yeah, and I think it was really interesting to me this week that Tom Brady, as I made the point, he definitely knows how to make news in the NFL dead period before training camp. And about 3 weeks ago, he was throwing with Josh Gordon, the suspended wide receiver. And you can argue whether Josh Gordon deserves to have another chance in the NFL or not after about 5 chances. But it looks like he may well get that chance. And so, but then, lo and behold, earlier this week, he's out in L.A. for the ESPYs or whatever, and he's throwing with Gronk, with Rob Gronkowski, the retired Patriot tight end. And, of course, Gronk has been saying throughout the offseason, I'm done, I'm enjoying life. He's a fun-loving guy. But one thing we know about Gronk, he does love the spotlight, too. And to me, I think there's a little smoke here that could turn into a fire, because he also was on NFL Network with Rich Eisen this week and was talking about just the fact that he doesn't really know how much he's going to miss the game until the games start. And I could definitely see where the fact that he's out throwing with Brady, and the point I made in the story was, hey, if he wanted to hang out with his buddy Brady, he can go to the beach or go to a great restaurant. It doesn't need to be catching balls in football mode, and that kind of tells me something that could be a precursor to what could happen come September. Now, I don't think Gronk's going to be there in training camp, and the other analogy I made was to Robert Smith, the longtime Viking running back, who always loved to miss training camp, and he would always sign one-year deals early in his career so that he wouldn't have to come to training camp. He could hold out, and he'd had 2 ACL tears early in his career. He thought it saved on wear and tear, and we've talked about this before. I knew what his MO was on training camp, and honestly, I was fine with it. I didn't mind him missing training camp and preseason games because I knew that he would show up in top shape. I knew that he would be a great player for us when he was there. I didn't mind him not taking all those extra hits. Now, the coaches would always say, "Where's Robert? Where's Robert? Where's Robert?" And I said, "He'll be here. Don't worry about it. He'll be here." And lo and behold, about 10 days before the regular season, he'd come in, sign that one-year deal. Of course, until we hit him with the transition tag, which guarantees the average of the top 10 salaries for running backs, but it also gives teams a right to put an offer sheet on. And we had the right of first refusal, which, of course, Seattle hit us with an offer, or hit Robert with an offer, and then we ended up matching the offer, which was at the time $5 million a year, made him equal, I think, to Emmitt Smith at that time as the highest-paid running back in the league, which I kind of gagged doing that contract because I was worried about him getting hurt. But lo and behold, he was a Pro Bowl back for a couple of years, led the NFC in rushing one year, and then, of course, he abruptly retired. By then I was down in Tennessee, so it didn't matter. But Robert, that was his MO, and I think that's a little bit of Gronk's MO this year. I think he figures, hey, why do I need to be in training camp? I don't need to be there. And I think Belichick knows him well enough that he's okay with that. He wouldn't want to do it with all his players, of course, but with a Gronk, he figures he knows he's a great pro. He knows he knows he has a great work ethic. If he makes the decision to come in, he'll come in excellent shape, and he'll avoid taking those hits in training camp. And so I think quietly Belichick is kind of thinking, yeah, that might work out pretty well. And they didn't draft a tight end. They didn't sign a premier free agent at tight end.
They didn't get Kyle Rudolph. Their projected starter is Benjamin Watson, who's suspended for the first 4 games. And he's old.
And is 38 years old. So to me, all the tea leaves say Gronk is coming back, and I think he'll be back for that opener against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football.
I was talking to somebody at the Super Bowl last year, and I think it was a Patriots player saying, I don't think anybody in the league has taken as many big hits as Gronk because he's huge, he blocks, he catches passes over the middle, he's willing to stretch out, he's willing to take the hits, and he's a huge target. And and when people hit him, they they sell out, and he's missed a lot of time with injuries, for all the obvious reasons. So I think even if he went to training camp, they'd probably try to give him as much rest as possible. So him missing training camp wouldn't be a big deal.
No, it would not. And as you said, I think that you're talking about a guy, a future Hall of Famer, and how many guys, he's 30 years old, how many guys that still have time left in their careers and the ability to go out and make, his salary would be $9 million this year, plus they'll give him a bunch of incentives to come back. How many players retire when they're still capable of playing at a top level? Almost never. And so another year, make close to $10 million and play on probably a playoff team and potential Super Bowl team. And he's got Brady, knows he's going to get him the ball. I see him coming back. I really do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's get a final thought from Jeff. Once again, thanks to WhiteBearLakeSuperstore.com for sponsoring the program. And again, subscribe to Talk North at your favorite podcast app and get all the shows, including the Viking Update show. Final thought, Jeff.
Yeah, I think it's we're 2 weeks from training camp now, just about, and I think it's kind of an interesting time for players and staff and coaches, everybody kind of enjoying that last little bit of time off and vacation. But I think the players are also making sure they work out and stay in shape because, well, one thing we know, it's not like the old days when players used to come to camp to try to get in shape. these days, when you get to training camp, you're going full bore, and everybody expects you to be in top shape. So I'm sure the guys are staying in shape, working out, and as we said, for Thielen and Rudolph, they're going to be flexing their competitive juices this weekend too. So that's not a bad thing either. So I think we're getting closer, and pretty soon it'll be here.
It'll be here really soon, and it's going to be fun. I mean, what a great, I as a columnist, I bounce around, I cover all the sports, and it's been amazing. It really has. The interest in the Vikings is at an all-time high. The team's always interesting and competitive, whether the season ends well or not. 3M Open, having a PGA Tour stop in our town is fantastic.
I was out there last Friday. It was fun.
It was a great event. The Twins are an excellent team. They're going to be in the postseason. Gopher football is going to be interesting. It's just a great sports market.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll give a shout-out to Hollis Kavner and Peter Mealy, guys that helped get me set up to go out there last Friday, check it out. I might be doing a little marketing work for them next year, and it was a lot of fun to see the tournament and just see all some of the big pros that were here playing, and what a great finish with the Eagle on 18. That was fantastic.
Good stuff from Jeff as always. Check out talknorth.com or subscribe. Thanks again to whitebearlakesuperstore.com, and we will and I should also mention Metro East Natural Healing Center. We'll talk to you next week.